Hello and welcome back to Stranded Deep, welcome back to the map editor, and welcome back to this island that we have been making. Last time we were working on a forest with a fallen tree that you can cross a river on, which is kind of nice. We also have a very large shipwreck. We've got beaches, we've got trees, we've got rocks, we've got quite a few things going on here, but we need to make it a little bit more detailed, a little bit more interesting. And one of the things I thought we could do this episode is work on the sort of little river delta. Now, it's not huge because the game really doesn't want to handle rivers or in fact fallen trees or a lot of the stuff that we're doing, so we're kind of working outside of the box currently. If you are joining us for the first time, we are using W to go forward, S to go back, A to strafe left, D to strafe right, Q to go down, E to go up. If you hold down the right mouse button you can pan the camera, very important. If we click on an object such as this nana plant, we can press F to focus, we can press R to rotate, T to transform, and if we want to, C will clone it. We can press delete to delete it and then click on OK, and then that's about all the controls you have. So what is the problem here? Well, we've created this kind of parabolic dish. We created this little dish area here, and you can kind of see it if we drop the camera down. It has a nice slope down into what could be a fairly decent little river thing. So it gives players something to walk through, swim through as they walk over the top. We've placed these little rocks to kind of mark out the fact that you can in fact climb across this tree, but if you fall off these rocks, these cliffs, you're going to break your ankle most likely, because it's not that deep. That's the big problem. Also, it's not that interesting because we have this kind of big open area here. Now, we've started to dress this area up with rocks and things that, well, you can't climb up on, but they act as interest sort of visually. So this whole area here, which would actually just end up as kind of dead space, it is a very large area between here, the edge of the map border, or at least the edge of the area that you can actually build to, and, well, what the player can run around on. So I thought we could just sort of make a few little islands here, something a little bit more interesting so that you can come out. Also make the river deeper. Now we're going to do that by hitting terrain. We're going to hit raise and lower. That's the middle one. No, that's the left one. Make sure the amount slider, which is inherited between all these tools. It's going to mess us up. It's going to mess us up. So we crank it all the way down just off the stop. Hit lower. It'll tick on the lower. Make sure the size of the brush is quite small. So we change that down. We're also going to click on the cog, and then we're going to hit display ocean and get rid of the ocean. How do you know where the ocean is? Well, if it's fairly shallow, you still get caustics. If you've got caustics turned on, which are these pale lighting effect. If you don't have caustics turned on, well, you can tell because the sand is generally wet. So, I mean, that's about it. Also, the shadow layer is a little bit weird as soon as you turn the ocean off. So the shadow layer kind of sticks to wherever you were. If we go up a little bit, turn the display ocean on and then off again, yeah, you can see the shadows kind of follow the camera from the last position that we were at before we turn the ocean off. I don't know why that happens. Something to do with the water mesh, I guess. So we've got this area here, and we're gonna just do a little test click to make sure the strength of the brush is okay. Nope. We need to actually select the brush. That's a weird thing. Between all of these, the settings still gives you the brush icon. So raise and lower, make sure lower is selected, make sure the amount is all the way down, test click. I'm not being dumb, you do have to test click. Otherwise you might end up with a crater down to Poseidon's what? I don't know. Poseidon's butthole? It was always going to be a butthole. So we're just brushing in. We have to keep moving the camera around though because it's a 3D space. So we'll just brush down, brush down, brush down, brush down, and then once we got like a nice depth, you can see the sand's actually changed color and everything down there. So I'm going to hit set height, read terrain paint height, click on that, click on the kind of the edge of this little dip that we've created. So now that the amount slider doesn't really matter too much, I'm going to crank it up a little bit. And that means that we can just paint down to that height. We're not going to paint any lower than that height. Oh, look at that. It's suddenly a lot deeper than it was. What does that mean? Well, it means that the game can now put stuff in there, so it can start putting things like different types of fish will spawn in there. Maybe coral will spawn down there, because the terrain altitude is very important in this game. If you want to know why certain areas have coral and other areas don't, well, that's because the game will say, oh, this is quite deep here, I can put coral here and sort of undersea rocks. It's quite shallow here, so I will just put little fish, but I won't put like the bigger fish and things. So that's how that all works. So we're just brushing in this sort of 3D area, kind of having to move the camera around to see exactly what we have done, because there's no view that you can have where there's no sand texture. So you can't just have like a grid view. Which would kind of help a lot, actually, in determining altitude and map height and stuff. But that's fine. It's fine. We would be asking too much of the developers. And I'm not just saying that. There were only 2 guys working on this. So yeah, we need to respect them, because I mean, it's a heck of a lot of work. So we're going to push this all the way back out here, kind of joining up with what is actually just kind of the natural island that the game generated originally. So we just went with what the game already automatically generated. We didn't even bother messing around with that. We just said, look, we'll slam a ship in there and just work with what's here. So we're just sort of painting all this back. How do we know that we've made any effect or changes whatsoever? Well, we can turn the ocean back on. Suddenly that is a lot deeper, like a lot deeper. Boom. Significantly deeper. And you can see that now. It's much better. You want to make sure the angle of the shore line isn't too steep. And we can change that by hitting smooth height. Change the brush size up. Change the amount. Give it a healthy amount. This amount slider is going to take us out at some point. Take it in a little bit and then turn the ocean off, because I want to be able to see what we're doing, and you can't see the brush from above the ocean mesh below it. So if the brush is below and the camera is above, you can't really see what's going on. Wow, we're on the cog again. I was thinking, oh, it's not really doing much. Nope. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We got it, boys. We got it. Ladies, we got it. It's not a problem. So we're just brushing in, smoothing off, because what happens is you get these little triangle effects, because the island mesh is essentially a bunch of little triangles. It's what polygons are made of. Yeah. So we're just smoothing this off as best we can. Excellent. So there's no jagged edges. When you're swimming along underwater and you're like, oh, there's a bunch of jagged edges down here. It's not very professional, is it? No, it isn't. Cranking the size of the brush up, so it's going to take out that little island a bit underwater. Not a problem. The little mesh jumps around. Things are going to jump around anyway because of LOD distances. The closer you get to something, the higher the detail. It's called level of detail, and that's how your computer saves processing power, by rendering things that are far away in lower detail. What? Is that what it means? Yeah, that's exactly what it means. So we're spending time, we always spend time brushing stuff in and out. So we click on the cog, click on display ocean. Is it still deep? It is still deep. Okay, cool. So that's kind of fixed all that area there. Has it changed any of the mesh above? Nope. We haven't suddenly got any gaps or anything. Nope. Okay. I'm going to use, what am I going to use? Set height, read set height, and then I'm just going to click just below the water there. Change the amount slider down, so it's just off the stop, and then I'm going to brush here, just away from the shore, just holding the left mouse button down and brushing it back a little bit, so that we get a bit of a gentler decline into the water. Hit smooth, crank that amount up. Oh, suddenly the light has gone from the sky. I wish there was a way to control that. Apparently there is, but it doesn't do anything. The control doesn't do anything. And then just go back along with the smoothing tool. So we maintain the depth of the water, but we want that edge to be a lot smoother. There we go. Much better. It's subtle, but it works. There we go. So we maintain that rise there. Goes down into the water. Do we need to do the same thing this side? I mean, we could do. We could do. So we click. We already set the terrain height. Whoa! The mount slider's up. I told you that was going to kill us. So the mount slider being inherited because we had read terrain set height. It's not so much of a problem. We can fix that. And the only thing you can do is fix that. You can't go back and there's no control Z. So we're going to hit smooth. We're going to crank that up and then smooth back along here just to really make sure that that terrain is smooth, and then fill this in using the smooth brush. Oh, okay, cool. Does that work? Yeah, it works quite well. So that little mistake that we made should take out that edge there. Could actually just help. So we go down a little bit. There we go. Brush all this back. Nice. So that's a little bit better on there. The sort of the angle of the shore is a little bit smoother. It's a little bit deeper, so if you wanted to swim out there, it's fine. But now we've got a bit of a problem. We've got some things out here that we need to do, so we're going to click on rocks. Hello, rocks. I like you. Are we going to do? Well, what can we do? We're going to put some stuff out here. For interest, because we've already got some rocks over here and they're on the land, and it's just like, well, if we just left them there, it would kind of be a little bit boring. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Well, I'll put that there. Which one is this? This is cliff 3. Might help us. It's cliff 5 is also quite a, I think cliff 3 the cliff 4 has a kind of big sloped side to it. I was just going to see if there's any other cliffs that we could put in that had another sort of slope slide to it. I think cliff 5 is the closest we've got. By putting these cliffs together, we can actually create something more than the sum of its parts. So we're to rotate, and we're dropping it into the ocean. And what I want is that smooth flat side to be climbable. What? Are you a witch? No. So there we are. What was that? Cliff. That's cliff 4, cliff 5, cliff 5. Here we are. So as we go away, as this thing goes further away, the level of detail of the rock sort of diminishes, and it comes back again. So, but there's also a little bit of weirdness to the whole thing anyway. So what you see in the map creator is not necessarily what you actually see in the game. What? Oh, yeah, maybe I should explain. Some things, the level of detail isn't quite right, so you need to go in and just make sure you can actually access things like berry bushes and anything you've created to jump up, on or over. You need to make sure that they are still jump up, on or overable, because of like collision meshes or collision boxes might not be quite right, or there's a bunch of stuff that you need to check. But yeah, it's just the way the game is. So we're putting these rocks together to make, well, a little jumpy boy. But we're also going to do a little trick. So we're going to hit on terrain, and we're going to raise and lower, and we're going to hit. Actually, do we want to do that? We can actually just hit read terrain set height from this island here, and then turn the ocean off. Make sure the brush is smaller on read terrain set height. Smaller. Whoop. There we go. Smaller than these rocks, and then actually inside the rock, whoop, just brush in some sand. And there's a reason for that. There we go. And then we'll hit the smooth tool. The amount is crazy high for a brush normally, except the smooth tool. So we'll just smooth that back a bit. Why are we doing that? Partly to kind of show that these rocks have had an effect on the world, and partly because if we go inside the rock, and it's going to take a while because the camera speed does not ramp every time you get close to something, the camera speed slows down as it gets closer to an object, and it speeds up the further away you are from an object. And the more objects that are in the world, well, the more objects there are in the world, the slower the camera goes. We have no control over the speed of the camera, so we've got to push ourselves kind of inside the rock. We can see that this area now here is above the waterline. So if we turn the water back on, see, above the waterline. So if we go outside of the rock, eventually speed the camera, see? There's a lot of things to remember, no? So now, when there's a storm, this rock is not going to get swamped, because the storm waves diminish around island meshes. So when the island mesh breaches the surface, then the storm waves will diminish so that the storm waves don't just swamp an island, because that would be unrealistic. But if you put a rock, which is just an object, in the sea, when there's a storm, the waves will swamp the rocks. So if you just raise the land up inside it, then it can't do that. Excellent, absolutely brilliant. Now we're going to go back to rocks. Objects. Object. Can we? So there's this bad boy here. What? Suddenly. This is Cliff 2. It is enormous. It is too big for what we need it to be, but it is kind of it's a neat object. We can make quite tall cliffs. I think we've already got one here, in fact. Yeah, we do. So one of the things we're going to need to do is hit R to rotate. We're going to need to rotate it around a bit. There we go. Let's press T to transform. Blue, red, blue. Excellent. And we can have it up a bit. Back a bit. There we go. Right. So we've got that there. Ooh, what are you doing? It's hashtag ruined. Yeah, calm down, Bob Ross. It's fine. So we are going to go back to our rocks. I do like these rocks. You can actually use Cliff 2 to make arches and stuff by itself. I've done that before. But when you need smaller arches and archways and things, you can just throw a rock in here. So when you pull it out of the toolbox, I'm forgetting all my words today. Why am I doing that? You pull it out of the toolbox, it will just clip to the surface of whatever happens to be touching, like the world mesh or an object, which is why it dances around. As soon as you let go, that will stop. So we're going to go like that and let go. Dunzo. What is going on? I don't think you know what you're doing. I absolutely do. Going to press C. Going to grab the blue toggle. So we've cloned it. Going to press R to rotate. R to rotate. And then we're going to do this. Okay. All right. I'm with you so far. Yes. Where are you from, by the way? Put that there. So we are creating a little kissy rock. And I like just having the rocks kissing. Just like that. Because you don't need a rock to be smashed into another rock. You can have it so that there is just a tiny little touch. Just the tiniest of touches. If you ever walked along the beach and you've seen cliffs, you'll know that when rocks fall, they don't just smash into each other. They usually just have a tiny area of contact, high pressure contact, because that is how rock works. We might just want to change the little angle of it so it's easier to be climbed upon. And then there we go. Just so I'm easing it down here into the rock, and then up here I still want that little tiny amount of contact. There we go. You know, forget the words, but work okay in a 3D space. It's a weird old world. Okay, so we're getting a little bit of stuttering because it's nothing to do with the computer. It's just to do with being so close to this rock. The camera keeps wanting to speed up and slow down, and it's getting confused. I wish there was just a single speed for the camera, but I mean, the lads are working on this game constantly. I'm pretty sure they... Oh yeah, Australia was also on fire. Kind of sucks if you happen to be working in an office out of Brisbane, which Beam Team are. So we're going to use Small Rock 3. We're just going to let go about there, and then we're going to drop that down here. All right. Wait, what? Yeah, you're making a little stair up there. Rotate, and then bring that up and then T to transform, and use the blue toggle to pull it down a little bit. There we go. Hey, what? What have you done? So we've taken something that already exists in the world, and this is one of the really important things. If you use two of something, make sure they look different. So this cliff here and that cliff there. So these two cliff pieces are the same, but now this one has been rotated and we've added bits of rock to it to make it look different. Ah, okay, cool. That's neat. We could also rotate one piece. So this one over here, which unfortunately because it's so big, the control point is underground. We can grab red, just kind of move it over a bit. T, grab blue, move it back to where it was. So this is now at an angle, whereas this one is not. Oh, okay, cool. We're going to hit terrain objects just to make sure that they are not tied to each other. And then we are going to go back to working on what we're working on. However, we've got the same problem. This is going to get swamped in a storm. So you can climb up here, and up here, just through the nature of being a player. But again, swamped in a storm. So we're going to hit terrain. We've got read terrain set height probably set, but we don't know. So we're going to click on an area of terrain, which is there. And all we need to do, can we just get in here and just have a little look from top down? Yeah, we kind of can. It's in shadow, but don't worry about that. The amount is up. I'm going to change the display ocean to off. There we go. And if we gonna go back and I really don't like the fact that the settings pane has the brush there. So we can just click and just literally quite roughly draw inside the shadow, which is kind of neat actually having it there. Just a little bit of terrain so that the storms don't swamp this area. I think that should be okay, except it's clipped outside. But wait a second, you can, yep, smooth height. So we change the size of the brush up because we were just working on what the shadow was at the time, and then brush around here, which is kind of neat anyway because that's how sand works. It would just follow the time and the tide, and it would just, yeah, let's get rid of the shadow by just standing back a bit. There we go. Anywhere else that needs to be smoothed down? Nope. So that's now these two pieces are not going to get swamped during a storm. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Turn the water back on. Boom. Oh, excellent. But what about, oh yeah, we should probably make it look a little bit more nice. A little bit less horrible. I think we're going to add some more rocks to the top, maybe, just to make it look a little bit more different. A little bit more different? What word is that? A little differenter? A little slightly different? Kind of different? Boop. Do I want to boop that in? How far do I want to boop that in? I mean, that's a good angle for that big flat rock. So we're going to hit R to rotate. Rotate it on the green axis. Rotate it on the blue axis. And rotate it a little on the red axis. There we go. But wait, these axes, yeah, they'll change. If you rotate the entire thing around, it'll completely change. T to transform. Bring blue out a little bit more. Excellent. So we are just kind of making our own rules as we go. I mean, what a way to be, huh? So terrain and objects, and we will grab small rock 3 again, put it down here, and then T, nope, R to rotate, bring it up a little bit, T to transform, drop it down, and then back, and then up a bit, R to rotate. What I don't want is a player jumping off here and then breaking their ankles, but I also don't want it just to be like a bit of rock that just kind of sits there for no reason. It's like, it's kind of, why is that there? So something's fallen off, broken away. There we go. That's better. So you can avoid it. That's not a problem, but it's definitely there. Now let's move it back over here. It's better. And then a little bit out a bit. So just in case the player does decide to try and swim around here. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. So we go to trees. Bush. 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 Whoa, bush. Too much bush. But you can, if you're very careful, very careful because the LOD on this thing is crazy. Can we actually hide that in there in some way? Yeah, we can. So we can have a bit of shrubbery sticking out, just a little bit, just a tiny amount. The trouble is the base of this thing's a little bit. So rudder rotate, and then T to transform. Rudder rotate. Now, is that going to be enough? Is that going to be enough for what we need it to be? T to transform, and then we need to move around a little bit to see which direction everything's going. I think that'll be fine. That'll be fine. So we can add some greenery to this by just having the shrubbery clipping out the rocks. Move it up a little bit. We're kind of working. I'm making something work that shouldn't work. There we go. There we go. There we go. And then we're going to hit. Oh, let's grab a banana plant. Terrain and objects. In fact, this area here is going to be quite open and exposed, so we can grab this rock and move it up a bit. That's better. So we've got the old bush in there to add a load of greenery to something that was otherwise just grey. And we've done something similar over here. We've added a load of greenery to some rocks. But here is kind of out at sea, so we can kind of go bananas, as it were. We can also grab the terrain and objects, so we don't have anything selected. I think a ficus is definitely going to be something we're going to need. Ficus tree, which one is it? This one? It is definitely this one. I kind of want it like that, so we'll put that in and then drop that down as much as we can. Pull that back. Rudder rotate. Yeah, we can. So we've got that kind of out over there. I think we need to angle the entire thing and then rotate it slightly more. Oh, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be a problem that's going to keep happening as soon as we put objects within objects. Trying to select the tree again is almost impossible. Okay, I think I've worked out a way of doing this that's fairly simple. So we can click on the actual cliff itself, drop that down until we can see the tree. Click on the tree? Oh, we can't click on the tree. Can we click on the tree? Yeah, we can. Press R, and then we can rotate it now in such a way that we can actually get it selected, drop it back down, and then click back on the cliff and move it up. The trouble is there's no object focus. So I think it was about there that we were at. Yeah. So we keep losing focus on objects, basically, because there are too many objects layered together and there's no way to select them from a list, and there's no way to lock focus on an object. So sometimes you'll be working on a bunch of objects that are very closely packed together, and the issue is that the selection will jump from the bush to the cliff to something else in the background, and you have to keep an eye on this. Is that the tree? Yes, it is. So I'm going to move that down as far as I can as soon as I let go. Oh, no, it's still okay. It's still okay. So can I move that in a bit? And now it's jumped onto the bush. So yeah, object focus is in map creation a complete, utter, total pain in the butt. And it's just something you're going to have to deal with. Terrain and objects, so we don't have anything selected because we don't want to accidentally move something. We have something selected here, but actually what we thought was selected there is one of these rocks. Then we move something that we've carefully placed, and then there's no undo. So be very, 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 very careful. Ficus tree, we can throw another one in here. Hopefully, if we do this, what we can do is get it rotated before we put it in, because the actual node where you manipulate the object is in different places. So this is quite low down. As soon as we press T to transform and then drop it into the rock, chances are we're going to lose it again. So I'm going to put that next to the other wooden bits of wood and then drag that down as far as I can get away with. Let go. It's no, it's still on there. The camera is jerking around because we're slamming into that rock there. But now we've got a ficus tree that's kind of bigger than its individual parts. It's lent out over the water, which is kind of nice, but it keeps this area on top clear. So as you run up here, you've got kind of a clear area. Terrain objects, cool. We're going to do some stuff up here as well. So the top of these cliffs, anything that faces the sky will have grass and things on it. It won't have grass sprites, but it will have this grass texture, which is nice, which is why we've got this bush up here to give it some sort of foliage ground texture. We could put a lava plant up there. Doesn't do anything. We could put a PP plant up there. Does do something and adds a little bit of ground foliage. Can we do it in such a way that it looks okay? I think we probably can. Yep. I'll just move that slightly. Again, the camera's not liking being this close to so many objects. So we've got some leaves and things on top. Excellent. We can also add a yucca while we're up here. Do we want to be a little bit trolly and put it off to the side? So we could put it to there. And then when people try and get the leaves off it, they fall in the sea. No, let's not do that. That'd just be bad. What we're going to do, we're going to put young palm up there. We can put some other plants and things up here. So, Cereman definitely wants something up here. Just to give it a little bit of flavour, a little bit of ocean oasis. A land oasis in the ocean? Is that going to be... What's that? An opposite of an oasis? Well, it's just an island, I guess. So we're going to rotate this around so the leaves aren't really clipping. Move it out a little bit more. Rotate it. Is there a way we can do this so it doesn't look like terrible? I think about there is about what we're going to get away with, and then push that. So that top leaf is not really in the way of anything. Excellent. So we've got a little bit of overhang, green overhang, and we can do the same thing. So terrain objects, make sure we don't have that thing selected, and then do the same thing sort of here, maybe. Boom. So R to rotate, red toggle. We can slam one of the leaves into the rock because you won't be able to see it. But then when we do this, I want these leaves just kind of over the top of the rock. In order, why do I keep changing the hand position on the keyboard? It's trying to click buttons on the keyboard, and it's just like, your hand position is wrong. It's kind of, oh no, we've done the thing again. We selected the rock. There you go. So yeah, you got to go down, and you end up going sideways. Like, I don't like that. Put that leaf entirely in the rock. It's not going to look terrible. Okay, cool. That works quite well. Most good. Oh, we've got to throw a little bush in there. I'd like the little bush is back again. That'd be nice. Nana plant. So the trouble with the nana plant, it's kind of not a good thing to try and walk over because the hitbox on it is kind of messed up. But we can push that back and give it a little bit of greenery. Can we even select it again? Nope. We can't select the nana plant again. Oh, can we undo? Can Control Z? Nope. So we're going to have to go into the rock, see if we can select it from the butt end. Nana plant. Nope, that's a rock. This is so many objects under here. It's insane. I mean, I think we might just need to leave the nana in there or move the rock itself. Hold on shift and just jet out of there. Now we can do this. Look down. Drag that down. Can we even select the nana again? No. How far down do we have to? How far down do we have to set it? All the way? Oh, there we go. Okay, you come out. Let's unmess up. Let's unmess up this. This needs to go back up. Now I think I remember how high it needed to be. And that's too high. Ready? Oh yeah, I know how we can do it. Because we placed the PP on top. Wait, what? So we click on that. It's green toggle. So we just want the PP there. Yes, the PP is not floating and it should still be accessible. Nana. I think the Nana's fine. If the Nana's not fine, yeah, we could just fix that with a rock. Yeah, too many objects together. Too many objects together. And the world is about to fall. So we do that. Grab that Do that this way. I can't see. I can't see. I just want to make sure the banana's kind of... There we go. Right. So we've had another rock there. The banana's growing out of the rock. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. So what we've done is we've created an offshore island with a way to climb up and some shrubbery and some trees and some various bits and pieces that are not going to get swamped when the world gets a little bit stormy. We can also, well, we can leave it like that. We could also put some trees and stuff down on the bottom. That might be a good idea. Objects, but we don't want anything too big. So we can hit up trees from here. Banana plant, aloe vera. Oh yeah, aloe vera would be kind of spicy together. Probably a palm or two, maybe? Would a palm work? Ooh, that's an excellent question. I'm not entirely sure. So if we take the palm 4 is quite a small one, and drop that, probably too small, if I'm thinking about it correctly. So drop that there. Huh. Yeah, it kind of works quite well. Just do a little rotate. So now that we've got a little bit of greenery there, I think that works quite well. So that is another offshore thing. So we're kind of really going with the offshore, but this one's slightly more technical in that can't be swamped, is something to climb over. There is a reward at the top in terms of PP and the ability to jump off into the sea. Might have to make the sea a little deeper than it currently is, but you know what? I'm happy with that. So yeah, we've run into a few problems, and the problems are mostly to do with object layering, speed ramping of the camera and stuff. But I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of liking what we've got, so I'm gonna leave it there for the time being. If you're liking this, definitely leave a little like, leave a subscribe, and if you do subscribe, click the little bell because that will give you notifications when videos go live. And I tell you what, I'll catch you next time.